Alright, everyone, welcome back to Street City Studio. Today I'm John in a jar, I suppose. I got some new things to open up here. I got a couple things to open up here. I already opened one of these jars, but basically it's a display jar. I got 3 of them here. I thought they looked pretty neat. I'm gonna start opening these, but they're basically display tubes, display jars for 3 3/4 figures. And I'll open that one here in a second. Well, I'll probably just open the one I'm opening. But it's basically it's for NECA figures, I believe. It says 3 3/4, but this foot peg doesn't seem to fit any of these Marvel figures, really. Value lock, storage capsule, protect, preserve, display for use with 3 3/4 sized figures. Adjustable foot peg for wide and narrow stance figures. But they weren't very expensive, so I figured why not. But basically it's got, where'd it go? I lost the foot post piece. Here it is. It's, there it is, taped to the bottom here. Alright. Get this tape off of it. And basically, it's got 2 holes and 2 posts. A long post and a short post. And you can position the long post to come through for a wide stance, or to come through for a narrow stance. But, again, like I said, none of my Marvel figures. I'll try, I haven't really tried a Star Wars figure yet, so maybe a Star Wars or a G.I. Joe will fit, but I don't think so. There. So I've got it positioned for the wide stance. But then the jar just goes right over it. Let's see here. Star Wars. Here. Let's try a Bo-Katan, huh? Ooh, that's squeaky. Oh yeah, that's not bad actually. So Marvel, not so much. And like I said, I tried him. Jurassic Park base body for him. Hammond collection. It's too loose. But that Star Wars, that's a pretty good fit. Vintage collection, right? So there you go. And so I thought those were pretty neat. I don't know who I'm going to keep in them yet, but John in a jar sounded pretty funny. We'll move on pretty quick here. I got Blue Beetle, and I want to get him out of the package kind of quick here, too, because I got a bent little leg on this bug, if you can see that. And I got this really hot water. And now, if you do any of this, I recommend you be real careful, right? But this is fresh out the microwave, hot water. And I'm going to try and get that bent back. And so I want to get him out. And into that water. Here we go. Get him into that water just for 20, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Right? Just long enough to start softening. Oh, if you look, I think it's starting to go back to its natural position anyways. right? Just getting it hot, it pulled back in. So that's cool. That's really cool. I don't even have to bend on it or nothing. But that was it. I'm just going to take them right out. Oh, before I lose that, he probably has some accessories. But now he needs to dry off a little bit. Alright. But that's a really nice looking figure. Some of you might know, some of you probably don't. But I already had some Blue Beetle figures from the movie. And I didn't get a lot of them because of the limited articulation and kind of the scale too. But that's why I wanted to pull this one in and look at the differences, because this one really is nice in my opinion. Where are these accessories? I'm just destroying this box. There we go. Okay, here. There we go. What kind of accessories did Blue Beetle come with? Okay, so it came with some arm blasters, some big old guns. That's not too bad. Kind of see-through. I've been on a translucent parts kick, so those aren't bad for translucent parts. I kind of did like in the movie, right, his parts, his suit extensions weren't holographic. They weren't necessarily translucent, but they were like solid parts. And I kind of like that. But now that he's out of the package and a little drier, let's get this out of here. Wipe him down a little bit and get this paper towel out of here. Take a proper look at him. Alright. Oh yeah, he's still a little wet. Give it a quick blast of Superman breath. Right? Let's see. His elbows want to bend. First thing I like to do is get them arms in more natural position, because that box pose always cracks me up. Super stiff arms and stuff. He's still wet. Jeez. I should have left. Let me get one of these back. I was trying to get rid of these tissue papers, but I don't think I can. I'm going to get this foam board floor all soaking wet. Alright. But anyways, I really like the colors. But not just the colors, right? Even the fact that the little arms for the scarab and the wings and these little antennas, this is all extra. And look at that. Even the little yellow details. But the fact that these are all raised separate pieces, right? The extra wings really sell it too. I wish they were posable, but at this range, at this price range and articulation range, I kind of get it. But again, that's some of the stuff that this movie figure's really lacking. You know, they're there, but he's got the little arms. He's got the scarab on his back, but only the scarab really feels like a separate piece. And even that's not a separate piece. I don't think it's all just molded onto the one piece. Right? You can't move his arms because of these shoulder pads. Let's see this one. Look. He still has blue shoulder pads, but you can raise his arms. You know? That's one of the things that really killed this figure. Right? Any appeal that this figure could have had is lost because he already has limited articulation. So you kind of want to at least know that when you're building it, right? Build around that maybe. And it looks nice, It looks nice. It's a little small then compared to a lot of these other figures, and that's kind of another issue, right? Even this Blue Beetle looks larger, just more imposing. Get them both on the paper towel. And he's not much bigger, but he looks a little bigger. Let's see. And a lot of these figures, right? I got a couple of them. I got Shazam here. They all make them look real small. And they're kind of all from the same company, right? So I don't want to dwell on it too much, but the idea was I couldn't pass this up, basically, because he just looks like the perfect Blue Beetle. That's the Blue Beetle I want. Let me get these guns in his hands maybe too. Let's see this. Yeah. See? That's pretty cool. I can't wait to get some lighting effect pictures with that, right? Get some good light behind it. Actually, hold on. I'm not going to do like a real photo shoot here or nothing, but I can definitely put a little light behind it. Right? And that's pretty cool. So, well, these aren't very adult collector oriented. They're not high detail, high posability. I really, when I saw it, I just couldn't pass it up. Because this was the best Blue Beetle I had so far. And he's not bad. I don't wanna complain about him. But man, that's so much cooler. Even just the raised arms on the scarab, right? They're hovering instead of molded on there. That just looks so much cooler. And I knew when I saw it, I knew that one was bent. But I'm like, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. But we can move on here. I'm going to spend too long just staring at this Blue Beetle. But I was really impressed with it. I like the colors. I like the way it looks. They did a good job on it. But also, last up but not least, of course, I got some video game figures, right? And I know a lot of people are complaining, right? They're saying this really isn't a 3 3/4 figure, even though it's advertised as a 3 3/4 figure. And I agree. This is even compared to any of these figures I got, this is a large guy. Too large for what he's supposed to be. But that's fine. I don't necessarily mind that. Especially if I end up using him for fodder for something else, like a custom. He could easily become a Hulk-sized guy, right? Or somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe a Doc Samson or some Ares, right? Ares or somebody. Who knows? I don't know yet. But I couldn't pass it up. But especially, I'm personally more excited about the Altered Beast Werewolf. Me and my brother and my dad, we used to play Altered Beasts for hours and hours. And I don't even know that we got... I think we beat it. I asked him, my dad says we beat it, but I don't remember beating it. We were so young back then. And I haven't played a lot of video games in years. But Altered Beast was definitely one of the games that got me into gaming. Because we definitely... At my mom's house, we started on things like Atari and ColecoVisions and moved on to computer games and Nintendo. But at my dad's house, on the weekends, we were playing the Sega Master System. And then, from there, the Sega Genesis and so on. But, man, I think my love for werewolves even probably started with this game, right? I thought that was such a great game and such a great, what would you call it, gimmick, where you change from your guy, right? It kind of started like you were just a guy, and you would fight your way through that graveyard, but you would get power-ups that other games weren't doing, nothing like that, where you transform into a werewolf. I thought that was so cool at the time. But let's get into these guys a little bit and see. Okay. I'm not too worried about these boxes. I know vintage collection. I try to sometimes because I know a lot of guys be collecting those boxes just for the boxes. But I don't think anybody's too worried about these boxes here. Just like that Blue Beetle. Nobody's worried about that box. Oh, he seems good. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Now, Streets of Rage is a game I definitely played for probably countless hours. But I don't think it was ever one of my favorites, right? At the time, around that time, I was probably more into, I don't know, man. I'm trying to think about it now. Fighting games, right? It was fighting games. I really liked Double Dragon. And I mean, Streets of Rage was cool. Don't get me wrong. But again, I'm not a gamer. I haven't played these games in years. Let's see this Mighty Uppercut. Oh yeah, there it goes. Now, I really like the butterfly hinge. And that was another reason I got them, just because I was kind of curious. How good is the figure? And it does. It's pretty sturdy. Seems well articulated. I haven't gotten him in a lot of range, but he's got, double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. He's got the bicep swivel and the hinge and the butterfly. Right? And the butterfly, a lot of the figures I have don't have a butterfly, man. I know a lot of Legends collectors and Black Series collectors are used to that. But in 3 3/4, that's not very common. At least not since Marvel Showdown, right? Marvel Showdown did it a bit. But I think when they were doing it, it was kind of awkward looking and bad looking, at least on certain figures, right? So they didn't do it as much, I think, or stopped doing it even. But yeah, that's a pretty cool effect. There, let's see. We'll get Hulk in here blocking it or something. Maybe he's not blocking it. Maybe he got inside his guard. folded them up. I have to get it. Let me see. I have to get this light behind it, just like I did the other things. And Blue Beetles guns. Right. There you go. Yeah, that's a pretty cool effect. And it's one of these effects too. Here, let me see. Get this light out of here. That's bright. It's just for the effect. Right. That's the kind of effect that can be swapped onto a lot of figures, right? Not just here. Let's get this out of here, right? Just because it's just a hole, right? Boom. Look how easy that was. Now John throwing that fury punch. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. I can use that for all kinds of shots at any point down the line, right? Even if I never even played with this figure again, which I will. But even if I didn't, I guarantee I'll be playing with this. But, again, this isn't, he's not one of my go-to characters. But that don't mean he'll be ignored altogether completely, you know? But he is, let's see him next to me. He's pretty huge. And he's definitely a hulking guy. Even compared to other, Hulk makes him look a little short, but Hulk's kind of the top of my scale, really, right? Look at other large guys like Superman here. Superman's bigger than me, and he still looks small. Right? Let me see, who we got here? Right? We got Deathlock. Deathlock's a big figure. He's probably a little bigger than Superman there. And he's still a little smaller even. So you really gotta push the scale. These are more of a 4.5, 5-inch figure, I think. Maybe not quite 5-inch. I'll have to get a measuring tape and check them. But they do actually have, let me see. What do we have here? 8 inches. So this has a ruler on it. Tops out at 8 inches. It puts him right about here. And it's in the unmarked area, but it's between 5 and 6. Yeah. Alright, so he's about 5-inch figure. Maybe a little more even. But, like I said, I don't mind having some range. Right? It just depends on what I do with him. He definitely looks like a lot of these Fortnite figures, right? He's kind of cartoony, but well done anyways. You know, real sturdy, well articulated. It's not a high detail, but it looks good detail, right? Let me get this thing back on him so I don't lose it for now. Alright, let's get into this werewolf. Alright. Let's said last but not least, but this one might be the one I was the most excited about. And I can already say my only real criticism is the fists, right? I might like some open clawed hands, but I kind of get it, you know? It isn't a punching kind of game. But let's get him out of this box. And like I said, I'm not worried about the box. So we're just going to toss it right over here. We'll get this power up out. As I said, it is. I'm just calling it a power up. What's it called? Spirit ball. Alright, there we go. Now, just like him, right, he's got the really good articulation. He's got them butterfly hinges. And now I think, the more I'm looking at it, I might even steal this Fire Fist. That Fire Fist would probably go good on him too, because he had an attack like that, didn't he? Let's see. Oh, it might not fit. His fist's too big. That's why I didn't put it on the Hulk, too. That's alright. That's alright. We'll put it back on Axel. Now, this spirit ball could be better, I think. If that centerpiece, and when I first bought it, I kind of thought there was a chance it might be, but that center flamey piece could really be translucent, but it's not. It's solid and painted red. I'm looking, there's a peg hole on the bottom, but I'm not sure what it would peg to. Maybe just whatever you got, right? If you got some sort of stand, you can try and peg it to. Oh, it won't fit on that, that's for sure. Alright, well, that's a mystery. That's okay, though. I'll find something to peg it to eventually. Now, he doesn't have jaw articulation, but I'm noticing his head's pretty soft. Not that you're going to get no closed mouth shots or anything, but at least his jaw won't snap off if it falls. Ears will snap off. Right? That's always a concern if it's too hard and brittle and you get thin pieces like that jaw or the ears. Wrist articulation here. Yeah, oh no. Oh no. As soon as I moved the wrist, I could see some of the plastic getting white from the stress. I don't think his wrist articulation is going to work too good. Let me stick it in this hot water. See if that helps any. Here, he's probably dry now. That water's probably not even very hot anymore. That's a little warm. Here. It's kind of strange that I end up using it twice in one video, but I'll take it. I'm glad I had it on hand. I didn't like that at all. I think his hand was about to break off. But I can tell it was articulated. It's supposed to be. But it's like it's glued in place. There it goes. There it goes. That's really locked up. I'm glad I didn't snap it right off. Alright. Yep, I'm dripping all over my foam board too. Just like I knew I didn't want to. I knew it. That's alright. It's getting pretty beat up anyways. I'll have to replace it sooner or later. And I do have a spare piece. But the longer I can squeeze out of them, the better. Once it gets beat up, maybe I'll turn it into a building or something. Try and make some diorama. Get him dried up here. Here, I'm gonna pause it. Alright, so he's a little drier now. He might still have a little bit of water in there, but for the most part, he's a little drier. And seems like most of his joints loosened up. Let's see. Oh, that's, I thought his knee was locked up, but he's got this little flare of hair back here that's stopping it from going the full range. That's okay. But he's a pretty beefy looking monster. I like a good monster. I don't really have any intentions on using him for customs, but he would probably make for some interesting customs too. Now I don't have a lot of werewolves to compare him to. Let me see. I suppose you could compare him to Chewbacca, right? But he definitely makes Chewbacca look skinny. They're about the same height. He's a little taller than Chewbacca if I really try to stretch him up here, I think. Right. Yeah, he's got a little bit of height on Chewbacca there, but not a lot. But he's definitely been hitting the gym. Chewbacca need a sandwich. But I got this warg. I always want to call it a wolf. I always want to call it a werewolf. But I got this warg. But I don't know that they're very comparable even, right? One's a very humanoid, minotaur-esque man-wolf, and this is just a wolf, right? Just a large wolf. He's almost closer to Chewbacca here, isn't he? I do have... Hold on a second. Alright, that didn't take very long, but I got here Marvel's Sasquatch. Let's see, a Toy Biz figure. I suppose that's kind of comparable, but you know, as much as the warg. But yeah, he looks good. He really looks good. Could probably use a couple dark washes of paint, just to make that fur texture look better. But there's a lot of texture there. And these were fairly cheap figures, so I'm not surprised they skipped on extra details. It does have the two-tone fur, right? His head and cowl kind of around his neck there has a darker brown. And then his body and arms, legs have like a more red-brown. His trunk's more brown. Looks good though. I like him. I got a few video game figures now, but not a whole lot, right? I just covered the Fallout figures the other day a little bit. Got what do we got here? Got Ezio. Right. I have a Scorpion, but I'm not sure which one of these bags he's in, so I'm not going to dig around for him right this moment. But that might be about it as far as video game specifics, right? I mean, you could probably argue that characters like Superman has video games, Batman has video games, but you get what I'm saying. I think that might be about it, right? Took a look at everything. Here. Get Blue Beetle back in there. Get him out of here. Get them out of here. Took a look at the new Sega video game figures. Took a look at the new Blue Beetle figure. Took a look at the new 3 3/4 figure lock containers. I think that's it. But as always, he's gonna fall over. As always, I appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out with me. If you want, I'd appreciate you go by, check out my Facebook, check out my Instagram. But even here, leave some likes, comments, subscribe. I appreciate it a lot. But for the Facebook and Instagram, I'll leave links down in the description, as always. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great start to your week, because it's Monday. I appreciate you guys. Keep playing with them toys, and I'll talk to you again real soon.